Committee of the Whole meeting for August 15, 2023 is called to order. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alderman Yamas.
Hold on one second. We'll wait till we get
Here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we
Yep.
can. Thank you. Go ahead.
Alderwoman Garza.
Here.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Donnell.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Bade.
Here.
Alderman Lash.
Here.
Alderman Warman.
Here.
Mayor Irvin's present.
Alderman Yamas requests permission to participate remotely per section 2-80 based on the reasonable anticipation of an extended illness. Is there a motion to authorize
moved.
Alderman Yamas to
Second.
participate? Motion made by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries by voice vote. So we will only hear or see Alderman Yamas on the screen whenever he speaks. Otherwise, I don't believe there's a screen like we normally do to have, let's just show his beautiful face. Handsome face. There you go. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes of
So
August
moved.
1st,
Second.
2023, Committee of the Whole meeting as presented? There's been a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries by voice vote. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do, Mr. Mayor. I will read the rules now.
Please do.
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the committee of the whole for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair, for the purpose of maintaining order, may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the committee of the whole shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Please call the first speaker wishing to offer public comment.
Edward Ash.
Mr. Ash, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
Since I've been here plenty times, nothing that I say really matters. I might as well go ahead and give my opinion that I don't like this room and it's too cold in here. Okay? I like the other one. It's a little bit more formal, but here we go. So if you guys don't know, June 29th, I beat the case that was put against me to deprive me of my rights by the Aurora police. And since you guys are the city of Aurora, I'm assuming that you guys, somebody in charge will be getting my lawsuit a little bit later on. So, I've been talking to all of you all. I let you all know how dirty the Aurora police were. I let you all know the tactics that they were using. I let you all know the communities that they were against, that they were bothering, ongoing, and what you all did every time. The next meeting, you all had something great to say about the police. Well, even if I run out of time, like I said, I'll be back, and I'll keep coming back until I finish, right? But at the end of the day, at a high level, judges, politicians, right, lawyers, prosecutors have all been in cahoots with trying to charge me with a false crime for me protecting myself in self-defense and the defense of others. But instead of you all going by the law, and instead of somebody like the chief of police, the lieutenant, maybe you, even the mayor, right? Because you're all into this, right? And I told every one of you all, except for John Lash. He's the only one who was not here. I told every one of you all what the police were doing and how they were doing it. And then I even spoke up even more once they charged me. But what did you all do? Oh, just business as usual, right? Collect your money as long as other people's lives are affected and not yours. Because then, right, when I filed my lawsuit before, you all try to hide under immunity with your lawyers. So therefore, there is no accountability here, is there? No accountability. You do wrong, there's no accountability. Somebody tries to hold you accountable, you hide behind immunity and the police and everybody else and say, oh, let's just wipe it up under the rug, right? But listen to me. Have you ever been shot at before? Have you ever had to save or protect your life? Or do you got police officers in here to save and protect your life? So I'm going to be honest with you. To me right now, a lot of you all are cowards. And this is to everybody except for John Lash. Especially you, Richard Irvin, because you the one act like you run the police, right? You do all this and do all that, but you let them charge me falsely, and you knew they were because I told you. And the person who was here, the other person, the bald-head gentleman, he was there on the scene when they got me. But I'm the only one who called the police, and I beat all of you all. The judges, right? Camargo, right? Flood, right? Steve Sims, right? Do you know any of these people? I got 15 seconds left. So what I will say is I will be back. I'm going to hold all you all accountable except for John Lash, and you all know what time it is. Y'all deprive me of my rights. Color of law.
Next speaker.
Vanessa Laveras.
Mr. Veras, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Laveras. I'm the president of the Aurora Caroline Lions Club. We're in Stonegate, Carolina at Stonegate, 55 and over community. I want to come here and thank the city for what happened on National Night Out. We didn't know if anybody was going to come from the city that day. We were told maybe we'll see what we could do. Well, we were floored by the amount of people that came to our small community. We had, I believe his name is Chris Minnick, the chief financial officer. We had several police officers come. A couple of them are from our district, or we're in their district. Firemen came. A pair of them came in a ambulance, which always makes us a little nervous in our subdivision, but it was just their vehicle that they used that day. And then we even had 3 female 911 dispatchers. It was a wonderful night for us. All of our community members were very pleased with the turnout that we had from the city, so I just wanted to thank you.
Next speaker.
Todd Von Olen.
Mr. Von Olen, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
There was lots of controversy at last week's city council meeting. We did not want to be part of that controversy, but apparently we screwed up. We did not put a date on the VIP tickets that we gave you all. So I know that caused a whole lot of consternation here and a lot of anxiety, and I want to relieve that because you guys get enough consternation and anxiety from the other people that come up here to speak. So Ukulele Fest this Saturday, be there.
Usually on a Sunday, isn't it? Isn't it usually on a Sunday? I know my last Mike knows. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, kind sir.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Are there any additional speakers, Madam Clerk?
There are not, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Let's go on to the next portion of the agenda, committee reports. Chairwoman Patty Smith, can you give the Building, Zoning, Economic Development Committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I will. The Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee met on August 10th, 2023, and reviewed the following items. 23-0582, an ordinance annexing of Jericho Road being 1.24 acres located at between South Edgelawn and Athelian Road to the City of Aurora, Road to the City of Aurora, Illinois 60506. This annexation is part of the 2020 intergovernmental agreement that we have with the Village of Montgomery.
Is that?
No objection, this item, Wilkinson.
The next item is 23-0585, a resolution authorizing the endorsement of the 2021 Climate Action Plan for the Chicago region. This ordinance would allow us to be eligible for funding opportunities with the EPA Climate Pollution Reduction Grant. And I don't know if anybody wants any information, but we do have staff here if so.
Mr. Mayor, quick question.
Alderman Nash.
First of all, I want to say thank you for adding this to the agenda. I'm absolutely going to support it. I guess my one question, I have a few, is what is our plan to put some meat on the bones on this, simply because we've already passed the Greenest Region Compact, which is a very similar roadmap, and I understand that I read this resolution. It's also a roadmap, but specifically to improve building codes, to expand EV charging, to use solar on all of our buildings, and a long list of other things that the $5 billion mentioned in the resolution allow for. What is our plan to actually
Mr.
put some
Manello?
meat on the bones?
Alex Minella, Senior Planner with the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. Thank you for your question, Alderman Leish, and thank you all for your support tonight with this endorsement. So, as outlined in the 2019 Sustainability Plan, which is also following the guidelines of the Metropolitan Mayor Caucus guidelines in the action plan and in the climate plan approved in 2021, we are strongly supporting any and all actions that region-wide and statewide are pursued towards sustainability. So along those lines is, of course, applying for any and all applicable federal, state, county grants that will be having a strong impact on everybody's daily life. We are pursuing EV charging stations, deployment of EV charging stations across the city. We are also going to, as we speak, working on the building permits aspect with the building code. We are not going to support as of yet the stretch code simply because has to be proven, the concept has to be proven yet. We don't have enough documentation to support the stretch code, but we are doing anything and everything in our power to facilitate the developments that are sustainability friendly, which means embed in the plan descriptions or in the negotiations with the developers some elements to the effect solar ready, EV charging stations, and as you recall, Alderman Leish, I know that you read the approval documents. Some of the developments already have language that account for EV charging stations and EV readiness within the developments.
Any other questions?
Two more quick questions.
Alderman Leish.
You said not hitting the stretch codes because they need to be proven. What standard are you looking to have those proven at? Can we look at international studies that prove those? Because I know internationally we're much further advanced. And then my second question is, will we be hiring a sustainability manager to get all this moving? A lot of the
First question, and I'll answer the second.
Sure. So, you want to?
Yeah, let me step in.
Oh, sorry.
I am John Curley, Chief Development Services Officer. I wanted to set the kind of the question in the right context here. The City of Aurora is enforcing the state law for energy codes. The state law does not permit us to go less than or more than the state law. The stretch codes that Alex is referring to would not be permitted to be adopted by any community in the state of Illinois until middle of next year. So our current stance is we're enforcing the state law, and we're not able to increase the state law to anything more restrictive. So I want to make sure that's clear.
Mr. Manila?
And to the second question, Alderman Leish, with all the respect, in 2014, I was brought on board to be the sustainability liaison for the City of Aurora. And I've been conducting my duties with respect and honor to the City of Aurora and its residents. And I've been trying to accomplish sustainability metrics and levels that have never been pursued to that level before. And with this being said, I'm more than welcome to accept any feedbacks, any input, and I will pursue any and all opportunities sustainability related. As far as the decision-making process to create a department itself or assign a manager position, that's beyond my pay grade, but I'm, like I said,
Let me jump in there.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Manila, we are very pleased with the work that you've been doing here for the City of Aurora, work that hasn't been done in any other administration before we appointed you in this position. And I would welcome the alderman to actually know what all of our employees do before you make conjecture and suggest that there is nobody performing these duties here at the City of Aurora. I think Alex is doing a very good job, and we'll continue to work with you and all your expertise in making sure that we are a very sustainable city. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Alderman Seville?
Yeah, I'm very excited about this opportunity that our municipality has, as everyone does as well, and that we're moving forward with this too. My question is the two-phase grant program. Is that something that the administration will be working with the Sustainability Committee on? Is that something that they're going to be recommending that we apply for these grants, or how does that synergy work?
As grant opportunities come available, we value case by case, and we will for sure engage the Sustainable Aurora Advisory Board and the grant writer, along with any and all other department representatives. We work on sustainability on a multi-departmental approach. We bring to the picture engineering, public works, building and permits, planning and zoning, any and all departments citywide. And we are going to pursue those grants as they come available, and as they fit within the City of Aurora, and as we are and will be eligible for those.
And Mr. Manila, point out the fact that we've not only been recognized locally and throughout our state and country, but internationally as well.
Yes, correct.
So just as a follow-up, if I may. So I understand and I heard what you said, but I'm wondering, is there specifically, besides the money, or is there already grant programs that we should be applying for that's been approved?
That have been approved, not yet. We are in the process of applying for a state and a federal grant.
I'm not sure if I'm being clear, so.
What are you asking,
I'm
bro?
looking for, are we going to be applying for specific programs that are already available besides the funding that comes with them? Released.
Currently
Yes.
available. Currently available.
Currently available, yes, we are. We are in the process of applying for those. The deadline is in September, so we are in the process of collecting all the information to be submitted, and we are up and running, and we are ready for it.
And I will add that we do have a full-time grant writer on staff, and all of our departments, including economic development, communicate with our grant writer to identify all the grants that are out there and potentially available for the City of Aurora. And if they are, we apply for them. We like free money.
Do I have a consent?
With no objections, item going consent.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is 230620, a resolution authorizing a limited operator agreement with Stang Aviation LLC at the Aurora Municipal Airport for a period of 1 year.
Consent.
With no objections, item going consent.
Next item, 230586, a resolution approving a final plan for the property located at 2931 Village Green Drive for a multifamily dwelling, 1140 use. This is a final appeal, and no action is needed at COW today.
No action needed.
Can we get a report from staff on this?
Is there anyone on staff that can speak to that, to 23-0586? Thank you, Mr. Seaman.
Good evening, Ed Sieben, City Zoning and Planning Director. This was regarding the 6-unit townhome development. So this is on a parcel of land on Village Green Drive, has underlying BB Business Boulevard zoning. It is a flex zoning category that does allow by right certain residential density, and with this size property, did allow for a 6-unit. This is meeting 100% of the requirements of the BB district, including setbacks, landscaping. We went over all that with the BZE committee last week, and this will be anticipated to be a rental 6-unit building.
I know Fuller's.
Is your microphone on, Alderman?
Fuller's will be kitty corner to it. What's going to be immediately behind it?
That's a good question. It's a commercial building there. It's in your packet. I'm not sure if it's that larger shopping center, that retail center in front of it. I'm sorry, I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't know what.
We talked about that.
Fuller's is next.
But right behind it to the south is the commercial that fronts on Ogden.
Okay. And I see you have a good landscaping plan.
Correct, yes.
How many feet is it, though, from, like, that property line to the back of that building?
How many
Looks pretty
feet?
tight.
I don't have that exact figure. It is meeting all the setbacks, so the parking in the driveway, the entrance into the garages are on the south side of the townhome, so that would be between the back of the commercial and the townhome. So the front of the townhomes are facing north.
Right, facing
Yes.
the street. Okay. All right. That's all the question I have.
Any other questions? No objections, item going consent.
That's all for the building, zoning, and economic development.
I'm sorry, no action needed on that, no final action needed. Let's go on to the next committee report. Chairman Franco, can you give the Finance Committee report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met on August 10, 2023, and reviewed the following items: 230598, an ordinance deleting certain property from the redevelopment project area for the City of Aurora Tax Increment Financing District Number 3, necessary for the creation of the Cross Street Tax Increment
Consent.
Financing District.
Alderman Lesh?
Quick question, Mayor. Just process-wise, we're pushing these amendments through, and then there's going to be a whole nother push for the creation document to come through before the TIF is created, or are we voting on that?
Council? And
Are we just voting on the amendment, or are we voting on the full RPA?
Looks like
Mr. Hold on, we'll have Mr.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Trevor Dick, Assistant Director in the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. These are just the amendments. This is not the RDA. Those will be coming at the end of August for council approval in September.
Thank you.
And I noticed you use the language of pushing the items through. I don't know that that's the correct term. We're city council, so we see everything and vote on everything, and it goes through as the process allows it to. So I don't know if anybody's pushing it through. But anyway, next item.
Next item is 23, did we get a consent on that? I'm sorry.
Yep, with no objections, item going consent.
I said,
All right, next one is 23-0600, an ordinance making minor amendments to the redevelopment plan and project for the City of Aurora proposed River Vine Tax Increment Financing District. And based
consent.
on a request from School District 129, the TIF will be reduced from 23 to 20 years with no negative effects to the TIF.
No objections, item going consent.
Next one is 23-0500, a resolution authorizing the purchase of one 2026 E1 Cyclone 95 rear mount platform aerial with $30,000 garage setup fee for a total of $1,731,568. As noted in the past, delay times for receiving these vehicles is significant. About 33 months for this engine. The funding will come from a future budget request as deemed appropriate at that time. Payment will not be due until delivery and will be in a decision package for 2026.
Consent.
No objections, item going consent.
Thank you. Next one is 23-0603, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a not-to-exceed agreement in the amount of $55,500 between Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly Incorporated and the City of Aurora for professional design services for the airport snow removal equipment acquisition project, ARR-5103 SRE.
Consent.
Because of the federal bipartisan infrastructure bill, the airport amended their request for snow removal equipment as the IDA approved these expenditures, which will now cover the costs previously not covered. Our cost is 5% of the total project cost.
With no objections, item going consent.
Next one is 23-0621, a resolution authorizing Director of Purchasing to execute various contracts to purchase and/or rent holiday lighting decorations for the use throughout the downtown and various wards in an amount not to exceed $132,000.
Consent.
And Jason, do you want to say a couple words?
Go ahead, Jason.
I do, yeah. Jason Bauer, Assistant Director of Public Works. When we presented this at Finance, we said we'd come back with a brief presentation for Cal. So here we go walk through the process that we've gone through so far this year and where we're at and what we're looking to do for this winter. So with that being said, we've been working for the past 6-7 months, so basically the bulk of the year, to identify areas that we thought we needed additional decorations in the downtown. We work very closely with Aurora Downtown to do the decorations. They do quite a bit, and the city supplements that activity. With Chris Kindle Market opening up last year, We brought in another 150,000 people to the downtown, and the goal is to expand and supplement all the existing decorations to try and get those folks to wander through the downtown, see all the different shops, and the plan to do that is to introduce some new decorations and some wayfinding signage. And our plan was to roll this out over a couple of years, and we're fortunate that we've got some funding left over this year. We had some money set aside for decorations for the downtown that we were planning to do this summer, and there's a decent amount of that budget that's left over now. So it's a really good time that we can get a lot of this stuff ordered with the manufacturers before everybody else puts their orders in, and then you can't get anything. So we spent a lot of time looking for spots that we could do things and what could go in those areas. So that being said, bring up a really quick map here. It's kind of hard to see, but we basically plotted on the downtown everywhere that we currently have different displays, whether it's the evergreen reindeer or the spheres or the stars. So there's a lot of work that we already do. We've shown that on this exhibit with a few different colors, some that show what are done by third parties, the red dots being what's done by Aurora downtown, and then the green dots being what is done by the city of Aurora. And if you notice on there, there's 3 different areas that we have yellow dots shown. So the northwest corner of River in New York, the northeast corner of Broadway in New York, and then the DSC green space right across from Lot B where we all park for these meetings. So those are the 3 yellow dots, and what our goal was to find things that we could put in those areas that we could use every year. So we were looking to purchase those decorations. And then we've got a few other areas we want to rent decorations, the thought being that we can rotate those out from year to year. Last year, y'all remember, we had Hope across the street. So the goal would be, that's kind of a prime area. We would look to do something different every year. So it's a mixture of rentals and also purchases. So at New York and River, we're looking to do an arrangement of some rather large presents. One of them's 11 feet tall, 2 of them are 7 feet tall. So this would be something we'd be looking to purchase. Over by the Fire Museum, teddy bear and some ornaments. The teddy bear is 10 feet tall. The ornaments are about 6 feet tall. So we'd be looking to do that there. Again, this would be a purchase, so we could do this year to year. And then out in front of DSC, 2 large ornaments and then what's called the crashing snowflake. So we would put those 3 in the green space out in front of DSC. And then these, the snowman right there, that would be a purchase. We'd be looking to do that somewhere out near the GAR. And then for across the street, replacing the Hope sign with a large Joy sign with some decorative ornaments to go next to it. And then out in front of Water Street Mall, we were looking to do 2 rather large nutcrackers. So those are about 11 feet tall, and we'd be looking to put those out on Water Street Mall, something to catch your attention as you're walking up to a night meeting or just wandering around. And then also in the downtown, some photo ops. So strategically placed, some places that you could go with your family and get pictures of your kids and things like that. So the other thing that we're looking to do, so as you all probably noticed over the summer, we wrapped pretty much every light pole in the downtown with lights that are right now vibrant, different colors. Those would still be up on all the poles, so we would reuse those. We would change the colors. They're all color changing, so we can do different colors with them. So we would go with something more of a holiday tone. And then at the top of the light poles along Broadway from Benton to New York, we'd be looking to put up 4-foot lit wreaths. And then on River Street, in that same corridor from Benton to New York, we would do every other pole with that same 4-foot wreath. And spacing it out there because there are some poles that we still need to have banners on and things like that. And then one of the other purchases we're looking to do, everyone really loves the spheres that we've had built, fabricated over the years. Aurora downtown has a number of them, and now we're looking to have some fabricated by the same manufacturer so that we can supplement the ones that we currently have and then put some in some new areas as well. And all of this would be supplemented with some signage to help people find their way through. So it would link to the map. It would show you where all the different displays are. So if you see something that you really want to go visit with your family, you know how to find everything. So this would guide people through the town and get people to walk by the various shops and restaurants and explore the downtown. As I mentioned before, the funding, we do have funding available. There is a surplus for what we had designated for downtown decorations. So the summary of all those items actually comes out to less than what is currently available in that budget. And you notice I do have in there a miscellaneous. We don't have that identified for anything yet, but we know we're going to need extension cords. There's probably going to be some uplights that we need here and there. So there will be a couple other purchases that we just haven't defined yet. We wanted to get this out in front of all of you now so that we can get permission to move ahead and start making these purchases. So with that, I would answer any questions.
Questions? Doesn't seem like there's any questions, man. Now everybody's happy and jolly and full of joy, brother.
Christmas in August, right?
Oh, actually, we do have a question here. Alderman Bade.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation, Jason. What about the storage?
So a lot of people have asked that question of me, and with the new Public Works facility going online, we do have a lot of storage space that we would have in there. So that really just means this winter, when we take everything down in January, February, we'll have to get a little creative, but we'll find a spot. We do have enough floor space now, but it's pretty valuable space, so we're going to plan on putting them up on the mezzanine, so the second floor at the Public Works facility.
And I also wanted to compliment on the spiral lights everywhere in the downtown area. They look beautiful at night.
Yep, yeah, we definitely want to get, oh, thank you, yeah.
And I didn't know they will be color coordinated or they are changeable during.
Yep, yeah. So we can go with different themes throughout the year. I think when we originally put them up, it was around maybe Memorial Day, 4th of July, and we went with like red, blue, and green, and then we changed everything to be a little bit more vibrant for the Warhol for the summer.
Thank you. That's all.
Alderman Siakos.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question. How long do we anticipate these displays to last? What's the lifespan on these things?
Well, interestingly, the rental price it basically they pay for themselves between 2 and 3 years. So we know we're going to get more than that. And what's nice is that this vendor, they're relatively local. They're out of Wheeling, and they actually do maintenance on these as well. So if we ever needed to get things restrung, that's one of the advantages of having this contractor doing this for us and supplying these to us. So we can get them refurbished for a number of years. So I would expect that we would see at least 10 years.
Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you, sir. No objections. Item going consent.
Thank you.
And the last one we have is 23-0367, an ordinance deleting certain property from the redevelopment project area for the City of Aurora West River Area Tax Increment Financing District Number 5.
Consent.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that to unfinished business. And if possible, I'd like to move 23-0598 to unfinished. I got ahead of myself and I thought I was asking a question on 0600.
So let's go back to 23-0598, move that one to unfinished as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other items that need to be moved to unfinished? All right, let's go on to the next committee report. Chairman Seville, can you give the PHST committee report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The PHS&T committee met on August 8th, 2023. Reviewed the following items. First one is 23-0499. For a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter an agreement with the F.H. Passion S.N. Nielsen and Associates, LLC, in the amount of $58,688.75 to retrofit opening windows at Fire Station Number 8. This is a fire station at McCoy. It was built in 2007. These windows have never opened. They weren't designed, but they need to increase the airflow to have better air quality for the fire people that work there. So this can go on consent. That'd be great. Okay. The next three are charitable solicitations. They don't need any action, but I'll read them into the record. 23-0589, a charitable solicitation application for Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive on September 15th, 2023 through September 17th, 2023. 23-0612, charitable solicitation application for Knights of Columbus Council 14825 Tootsie Roll Drive on September 3rd, 2023 to October 1st, 2023. And lastly, 23-0624, charitable solicitation application for the Muscular Dystrophy Association's Firefighters Fill the Boot Drive on September 1st, 2023 through September 3rd, 2023. And that's it from the PHS&T.
Thank you, kind sir. No action needed on the final three items. Consent on the first. All right, let's go on to the next committee report. Chairman Garza, can you give the Infrastructure and Technology Committee report, please?
Yes. We met on August 7, and first item is 230559, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute a contract with Atisco Inc., Yorkville, Illinois, in the amount of $71,000 for the installation of the two Jumbotron mounts and River Edge Park in Ward 1.
Consent.
No objections, item will go on consent.
230581, a resolution authorizing the approval of service agreement between Selecton Technologies and the City of Aurora for Select TXT, a texting interface with TrackKit system.
Consent.
No objections, item will go on consent.
23-05AA, a resolution to award the Rural Street and Wood Street Drainage Improvement Project located in Ward 1 to Stokes Excavating Inc. for the bid amount of $180,310.00.
Consent.
No objections, item will go on consent.
230590, a resolution to award the Broadway Avenue Water Main Improvements Project located in Ward 2 to Berger Construction, Inc. to the bid amount of $2,075,307.33.
Consent.
No objections, item will go on consent.
230594, a resolution authorizing the purchase of replacement and additional vehicles for the City of Aurora fleet for $526,000.
Consent.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move this to unfinished.
Alderman Lesh. I'm sorry, do you want to just put that on unfinished? All right,
Unfinished,
that
thank you,
item
sir.
will go on unfinished.
Finish? Okay. 230615, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to increase an existing purchase order with the Rubino Engineering, Inc. 425 Shepherd Drive, Elgin, Illinois, 60123, to the amount not to exceed $80,000 to provide professional foundation materials testing services for the Public Work Combined Maintenance Facility Project.
Consent.
No objections, item will go on consent.
They conclude the meeting, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Chairman Warman, can you give the Rules Administration Procedure Committee report, please?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So, Rules Administration and Procedures Committee met on August 1st, 2023, and reviewed the following items. 23-0587, an ordinance amending Section 2-125 of the Code of Ordinances pertaining to the meetings of standing committees of the City Council.
Consent.
No objection, item will go on consent.
Second item is information only, so no action needed so far. 23-0593, discussion of upcoming proposed changes to Chapter 32 of the Peddlers and Solicitors of the Code of Ordinances. So this is something we brought before RAP just for discussion, so we brought it to COW for further discussion.
All right, so do we have any staff that want to speak on this particular item for further discussion, or does anyone from any alderman have any issues? Tell you what, once we have staff, just give a quick, just brief presentation about where we stand and what we've talked about, bringing it forward for further discussion, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Good afternoon, Alex Voigt with the Mayor's Office. What staff presented to the RAP Committee was a very broad overview of some of the changes that we will be proposing to the Peddlers and Solicitors Ordinance, Chapter 32. So we will be bringing a comprehensive draft ordinance, I believe, at the first RAP meeting in September, which will then come forward to the committee. But there are some cleanup items we had to tend to, and then we will be adding in some additional items to the ordinance as well. So I can try to answer any questions, but there will be a comprehensive presentation coming for the entire committee in September.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, just a broad overview of what some of those changes might be and a timeline then.
Sure. So there were some, and legal can jump in here, there were some items that we had to amend regarding some constitutional issues. We're adding in some additional safety parameters. One of the things the RAP Committee recommended we take a look at was putting in background checks for individuals who will be going door to door. We are proposing a change in process for how charitable solicitors will be managed. Right now, the charitable versus business operators are managed differently in terms of the application and approval process. We will be, I think those were the biggest changes.
Lou, do you have any additional thing to add?
And if there are specific items of concern, while I have everyone's attention, if there are specific things, complaints that you receive from your constituents that you'd like to just flag for us, we are absolutely open and we'd be happy to take a look at those and make sure we're addressing them as we go forward.
Council?
I have nothing.
All right. Any questions based on what the discussion will be at some point in the near future?
I'm sorry, the timeline, it will be going to wrap on September 5th, which means it will come to the second committee of the whole in September. So we'll be looking to implement October, November.
So those aldermen that are interested, please attend those wrap sessions, those that are not on that particular committee, so you can weigh in.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. No action needed on this
No
item.
action needed. That concludes Rules of Administration Procedures.
Thank you very much. Let's go on to we're going to go on to new business. We'll start with the clerk. Will you read the item of new business? First item of new business.
23-0592, a resolution authorizing a first omnibus amendment, assignment, and termination to Home 2021-02 that allows for the continued development of the Todd School and the Lincoln School by setting forth amended terms regarding the redevelopment as affordable housing.
Alderman Messiah.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to recuse myself after talking with legal.
Thank you very much. Is it required that Alderman Messiacos leave the council chamber?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll wait till Alderman Messiacos leaves the council chamber before we continue with this item.
Mr. Mayor, I need to recuse myself as well.
All right. Well, Alderman Warman will also recuse himself from this particular item. We'll wait till Alderman Warman leaves the council chamber before we continue discussion on this item. All right. Let the record reflect that both Alderman Messiacos and Alderman Warman have both left the council chambers. Staff, will you continue on with a description of what this item is?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris Ragona, Community Development Manager. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we'll be presenting on the resolution authorizing a first omnibus amendment for Project Home 2021-02 for the Lincoln and Todd School redevelopment of affordable housing. We're going to go over the amendment first, then talk a little bit about the overview of the project since it has been a little bit of time since we last presented this. And then we'll talk about the construction update, and then I'll open the floor for any questions. So the summary and the need for the amendment, back in April 2023, during the construction phase of the development, city staff requested technical assistance from HUD to set up the required long-term compliance and reporting tables to track accomplishments, data, and clients served, and to draw down on home funds. In reviewing the agreement, HUD staff requested a technical modification to the structure of the agreement so the home funds are being directly provided to the property owner entity rather than to the developer for the use and benefit of the property owner. So what we originally came up with was a tri-partner agreement, and in working with HUD, they have requested a proposed amendment to terminate that current agreement and engage in, and let's see, what's the words I'm looking for here, and redesign the agreement and modify it so the city is engaging just with the property owner. So we would be reducing this tri-partner agreement only to the city and then to the property owner. What's important?
Just so it's clear, what did the agreement say initially? Who are the participants?
So within the tri-partner agreement was Visionary Ventures, nonprofit, Fox Valley Apartments Limited Partnership, and the city of Aurora.
All right. So so everybody's clear now. It's going to be reduced to just the city of Aurora and
Fox Valley Apartments Limited Partnership.
This is based on HUD's requirements.
Correct.
All right. Continue.
So I think what's important that's not going to change is the amount of home funding provided to the development, the rent limits and utility allowances based on the income limits and bedroom sizes identified in the original agreement. The affordability term of 30 years from the date of the full lease-up will also not change. So that date wouldn't start until early 2024 and extend into all the way into 2054. And then most importantly, the ability of the city to enforce the requirements of the home program and the ability to monitor the assisted tenants over the next 30 years. So this is more of a procedural and administrative change to link back to the home regulations proposed by HUD. So moving forward, Lincoln School, the building was built over 130 years ago. This is going to be the largest concentration of the affordable housing. 36 affordable units are going to be spread across 2 different buildings, with rent limits ranging from $400 to $1,300, depending on the bedroom size. In this development, we're going to have bedroom sizes of 0 efficiency units all the way up to 3-bedroom units. And then qualified tenants will have an income range of $16,000 to $65,000 annually, and that'll be a sliding scale over the next 30 years. So based on how inflation rolls, the rent limits and income ranges will also change. So here's a picture. This is maybe about 30 days old or so. As you can see, Lincoln School is the original building on the top, and then the new construction is on the right side of the building. And we're hoping construction will be complete, depending on supply chain issues, around the beginning of the year. So for Todd School, built in 1934, this is going to be a little bit smaller. 11 affordable units are to be redeveloped. And then additionally, a 5,000 square foot public health facility for all District 129 families and students. And they'll be doing all sorts of things: preventative subsidized family health care, vaccinations, school physicals, and then possibly addressing some food insecurity as well.
That'll be through the service of VNA.
VNA Healthcare, correct. And if you look at the design, what it currently looks like, it looks pretty close. Again, this picture was taken about 30 days or so. So construction progress, we are approaching the 75% construction completion milestone, hopefully by the end of September, and hoping for 100% completion of construction in early January. We're also hoping that the public health facility will be opening sometime in the winter, and if all goes according to plan, full lease up of 47 units by the spring. So we're very excited. So with that, I'll open the door for any questions.
Alderman Bate.
Rich, can you please share this presentation with, sorry, Chris, can you please share this presentation with us?
Certainly.
Yeah, so we can take a look of it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Alderman Smith.
I believe we talked about this some time ago, but what are we doing to assure that these spaces will be used for Aurora residents?
So we're going to use a tenant selection plan and marketing and offer these units in strategic locations within the city of Aurora. We can't 100% prevent folks from the outside of the city from applying, but I believe if we market in the right places, and at least for the first set of marketing, concentrate on high-impact areas of Aurora, our schools, public facilities, my hope is our waiting list will be generated with primarily Aurora residents.
Thank you.
Alderman Lesh.
Mr. Mayor, just along those lines in the waiting list, when does the waiting list start? Have we already started maintaining that? Just how the waiting list will work, basically.
So I don't believe that the property owner has started taking applications just yet. My guess would be later this fall, when construction gets a little bit closer. They'll be finalizing their tenant selection plan, finalizing their marketing efforts, which we'd be happy to share with City Council when that becomes available. And then we'd be building out our waiting list.
Any other questions? All right. If there are any no objections, item will go on consent.
Consent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry. Because we have 2 aldermen that are going to be abstaining from this, we will have to put this on unfinished. So that item is done. So we'll have the 2 aldermen, return to City Council chambers. And we'll go on to the next item under new business. We're going to hold off just for a second, Mr. Dickett, and
No problem.
Gio, so we have our alderman return to the council chambers. Mr. Santana. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Santana, Mr. Dick, you can proceed.
Okay.
And Madam Clerk, will you read the the second item under new business?
23-0643, a resolution authorizing the city to apply for a $600,000 grant from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for improvements at Garfield Park.
Gentlemen.
Thank you, Mayor. Trevor Dick, Assistant Director in the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. I'm joined this evening by Joe Santana, our Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, and we're thrilled this evening to be speaking with you about Garfield Park. We're working as a team with Julie Franchino, our city grant writer, Jim Burchell, our Chief Public Facilities Officer, and Derek Winston, our Director of Public Facilities. We're in the process of applying for an OSLAG grant to help fund renovation and improvements for Garfield Park as part of an OSLAG grant application, which includes part of the OSLAG grant application includes a resolution authorizing staff in the city to apply for the grant. That is the purpose for our presentation this evening. Garfield Park is located in the Pigeon Hill neighborhood and is considered one of the city-owned legacy parks. Although improvements have happened over the years, the park could benefit from an upgrade and additional recreational elements. The city has been looking for funding opportunities for some time and are excited about the opportunity to apply for an OSLAG grant. What is an OSLAG grant? We applied for an OSLAG grant, if you remember, just before COVID, applied for and were successful with Wilder Park. This is the same program. It's a state finance grant program that provides funding assistance to local government officials or agencies for acquisition and or development of land for public parks and open space. It's managed by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Funding assistance up to 50% of approved project costs can be obtained. Grant awards for developments are limited to a $600,000 grant maximum. We'll be proposing to submit for the maximum amount, which would be $600,000, which would equal a $1.2 million project. Working together across multiple departments, 2 draft concepts have been created. Our goal over the next few weeks is to fine-tune the concepts and create one preferred plan. To help us, we're asking for community input. Option A includes the following components, and I'll move west to east as I describe it. A new playground, a new splash pad, new bathroom and shelter, a new upgraded parking lot that can include rain gardens and EV charging stations. Because of the success of the summer, over the summer, of the temporary street soccer fields that were put in, the idea is to create 2 permanent street soccer turf fields. We also show 4 pickleball courts, a large artificial turf area that would allow for multi-sports, including baseball, soccer, and football. And on the east side, the site of the current fire station that will be relocating, the idea is for a second parking lot, a new bathroom, and an ADA accessible turf baseball field. Existing lighting will be upgraded to be more energy efficient and more directed towards the specific fields to eliminate any spillage. New parking lot lighting and pedestrian scale lighting will also be added. And finally, new sidewalks are designed to run throughout the park, connecting the amenities, as well as new trees and native plantings. Option B is very, very similar. However, it includes the same recreational elements, but handles parking differently by focusing the majority of the parking along Sheffer Road. Also, the size of the turf area moves from more of a square to a rectangle that still allows baseball, soccer, and football, but in a different orientation. Since announcing this project last week at Finance Committee, Steve Lord has written about it in the Beacon, and last Saturday we engaged with the public at Alderman Yamas's First Ward Back to School event. Residents were provided flyers and provided information as well as a QR code to submit input, and presentation boards were shown of the 2 options. We are also asking for input through the city's website, and we'll be having 2 future community meetings in both English and Spanish on August 21st at St. Joseph Catholic Church at 6 p.m. and on August 29th at Marywood Community Center also at 6 p.m. The next steps are to refine the plan and create an estimated budget, and then to complete the application and formally apply before August 31st. Typically, decisions are made by IDNR in the wintertime, and if successful, construction could begin in 2024. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions? Alderman Frankel.
I have 2 questions. So, is it coincidental that 50% of the project is $600,000? That project just happens to be $1.2 million?
Well, I can answer that.
Or did we adjust the amount we're going to spend only because we're going to get $600,000?
So that's a great question, Alderman. Let me clarify. So I believe, and we have to work on the budgeting, I believe that what you saw in those concepts will be more than 1.2 million. So part of the project, by getting the community input, is we'll be able to prioritize what the residents feel are important. And yes, I want to thank you for bringing that up. I should have made that clear. I think what we showed on there was more than 1.2. We're going to have to phase it.
And then the other question I have is the baseball field is going to be artificial turf. Is that just the infield or is it going to be outfield?
This would be for the entire turf of the field so that they could be lined for multiple sports, so it would be all artificial.
Okay, because the reason I say is because that's a great answer because you can use it for multiple sports because I have seen fields that really the infield is the only thing you need for that because if it gets wet in the outfield, it doesn't matter, but it's the mud and stuff in the infield. So, but I didn't know if you're going to have it for other sports, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Alderman Smith.
Yeah, that was kind of my question on the artificial turf in a way. I was just wondering what the thinking process is behind it as opposed to natural grass.
So there's a few different components to that. It's mainly from a maintenance standpoint. It's less maintenance. They're already striped. You don't have to maintain the fields. It also allows for more activities as opposed to just baseball fields. As Trevor mentioned, they can be used for soccer, football, more community active sports. And then also there's potential for adding additional lines down the line for lacrosse or expanded field use activities. Also a more sustainable concept because of the water reduction from not having to water them or running the machines to prep them on a daily basis.
Will we have to require some type of a detention or retention to provide for the concept of having artificial fields?
So the both concept plans did call for detention as well as BMPs.
No, I saw that, but I'm just wondering is that the philosophy behind it in terms of putting the detention in because of the artificial turf?
It's twofold for the artificial turf, but as well as the overall aesthetics of the park and improvements of the park as well.
Alderman Smith.
Yes, thank you. I've never been to Garfield Park, but I know Alderman loves it there and has talked a lot about it. So in adding these soccer fields and baseball fields and additional lights, is there in any way, shape, or form going to cause any noise pollution or light pollution for surrounding homes?
Yes, thank you, Alderwoman. I'll take a shot at that, Joe. There's existing sports lighting there right now. It's very, very old. Technology has really improved for sports lighting. Not only is it more energy efficient, but you can direct the lights so there won't be any light spillage. When we do design the park, we'll make sure there's appropriate buffering, landscaping to help with noise especially. If you look at it in the current concept, the land drains that way, but the idea is to have the detention ponds on the south. That also create additional buffer between the homes and the sports fields.
Alderman Lesh.
Thank you for the presentation and pursuing the OSLA grant. Do we still have plans to partner with the Boys and Girls Club on this property?
Yes, I can answer that. I don't know if anybody else wants to as well, but yes, the Boys and Girls Club will be in the east side of this property, this park, and the application ends at, what is that street? Michael Street. And that is where this park would be for. Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have another question.
Alderman Janelle, and then I'll come back on.
Thank you, Mayor. I was out there today, took a look. There is one half-court basketball court over by the tennis courts. I don't see any basketball. From my past experience, basketball is a very popular thing. Have we any thought given to including basketball in this plan?
Yes, there was some thoughts to that, and that's something that could be refined too through the additional community input.
Alderman Frank, and just to be clear, although the Boys and Girls Club is not at issue at this particular time, it's just the ASLOT grant and what you showed before, but the Boys and Girls Club did have plans for having basketball inside of their facilities as well, which will be right next door. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll come to Alderman Frankel, then Alderman Maysakos.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two questions for you. One question really, but just to clarify my thought real quick. I heard you prioritizing and adjustments. So there can be adjustments made based on what I just heard, community input, whatnot, with what's going on here, correct?
Correct.
And also budgeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because my question really revolves around, has there been any thought, discussion created or going to happen with the fact that we have two fields that are named after Dolan and Andrews over there? And I see in option B that you're probably not going to have the Dolan field anymore based on that layout to the north of that. You're going to put parking there instead. I know a lot of those immediate family members are still around for those two individuals that those parks have been named after, those two fields. Andrews to the south and Dolan's to the north. I know that because my kid plays baseball there regularly too, so.
Yeah, no, Alderman, that's a great question. That's something we talked about when we were out there on Saturday. We saw the names on the back of the backstops, and we were talking internally, if this were to happen, if new baseball stadium or fields were built, we would honor those legacies and put a new sign up. That was our internal recommendation. We'll follow whatever the council desires, but in some way to continue to honor their legacy.
My question really revolves around, has there been a discussion with these families or an effort to make outreach to discuss that with them as well? Because it would be personal, would think, to them.
Yes, that's a very good point. I have not personally reached out to them. I don't know if anybody else on the team has, but that's definitely something we should do.
All right, I think that would be great if you do. Thank you so much.
Alderman Franco?
So let's go back to the drainage issue. You're going to build retention ponds because of the artificial turf fields?
It's primarily for the parking lots.
Okay.
Right now, their majority are gravel parking lots.
Right.
And so now the idea is to create new permanent parking lots. We'd still have bioswales, best management practices, but that would require some type of detention.
Because typically these, because I've been involved with these before, they dig and they put the rock underneath and it drains down from the field. So that wouldn't be necessary for the field itself, but the parking lot would be a different situation. Okay, I just want to make sure, because I was trying to wrap my head around it, because we spent $1.2 million at West High to do that, but we had to dig down for drainage as opposed to having a retention pond nearby, so I didn't know how that was going to fit into this. Okay, thank you.
Now, given the fact that this is in Ward 1, and although Alderman Yamas is not present here in City Council, but is present on video, I believe he's participated in conversations, discussions about this, and is very excited about the improvements to Garfield Park, seeing as though that park is heavily used in his particular ward. Matter of fact, he just had an event this past weekend with, a couple thousand people there that would have enjoyed the improvements of this park. So, Alderman Yamas, did you have anything to add to this, given the fact that this is Ward 1, and you have a very strong interest in making sure that these improvements go forward?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I did have Trevor Dick there at MX School Fair this past Saturday, and he did a great job getting input from residents, showed two different versions of what improvements we could make there at the park. They are definitely needed. It was something that I had been working with Geos and Jen on for the last 4 years or so. The community is going to love either of the two options that we're going to pursue. I understand the concern about baseball fields switching from natural grass over to the artificial turf, because that was my initial concern too when I saw the two different renderings. But after speaking with staff and people that have experience with these fields, my concern was, how do you slide into a base? You're playing baseball with the dirt infield, you kind of used to that, but I was concerned about the safety, especially the kids that are playing there, and what sliding on turf would cause them any issues. But I was sure that with the newer technologies and this artificial turf would be even easier to slide there with natural grass. So kind of seems to be the direction everyone is going in, and I don't see an issue to switch over to artificial turf. But otherwise, I'm really excited for this project. This combined with the Boise Rose Club is really going to lift the area up and show the community that we're there, and there is a place for people to go to, a safe place. And Alderman Smith, I had no idea that you had never been to Garfield Park. I will personally invite you to the park where we can go and play catch, get some ice cream, and just hang out. That's all here. Thank you.
I'm in.
All right, with that, with no objection, this item will go on consent.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes everything under new business. Mr. Muhammad, do we have anything under the mayor's report that you wanted to present to council? All right, doesn't appear Mr. Muhammad has anything, or Mr. Martinez. No? You sure? You look like you want to step up to the mic, brother. No. All right, so then let's get on to the important part, one of the important parts of today's COW meeting, and that's hearing from the Alderman's Corner. Today we are hearing from none other than the prestigious and Mike Seville of the 6th Ward, our longest-serving alderman here on City Council. Sir, so we are very interested in what you have to say and what you present today about what's going on in the 6th Ward.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I will not be presenting a PowerPoint presentation, so I'll keep in line with the recent tradition. But I will I'll let you know what's been going on in the 6th Ward in the last year. Let me begin by saying that I'm very proud to represent the Marie Wilkinson Garden and Pantry. Last season, last harvest, because of the land that we've been able to acquire and lease to them, they grew and harvested 12,465 pounds of produce from the community garden alone, and 86,886 total individuals were served by the food pantry last year. So I'm very happy that we've been able to expand that. We offer now 30 individual plots for the community as well, on top of what the food garden produces, and it's really added to the ability of having people be better prepared and have food security, as well as stabilize that area of the ward. The New Haven project was what I talked about last year. It was completed at the end of November, barely because of the strike that we had and the cold weather that came in on November, but that is now complete. So the entire area of the business park on Russell and Morton and New Haven is now complete over a period of many years. They all have curb and gutter and sidewalk. And now you can go there and see the viable businesses that are there now. The West Aurora School District Maintenance Building moved there recently. We all know about the Foxfire Park District, New Haven Park there. So people can bring their families there and drive. It looks like a wonderful improved area and play baseball, softball, soccer, just to hang out, walk the walking path, as well as go to the food the shelter there and have their picnics. So I was really proud of that. The 6th Ward spent $193,701 on those improvements on New Haven last year. It needs to say we all are familiar with how much money the Ward Committee has allocated each and every year. So there was a long-term thought and plan that was given to that, and eventually we were able to implement that. We did complete, if you remember, the Manor Street driveway approaches last year. I talked about, and that was for a total of $55,000. That allows people for the first time not to have to bottom out their cars going over these really tall curb abutments, so to speak. And so the residents are really pleased about that. The Redwood development is underway. If you go past there on the corner of Indian Trail and Randall Road next to the water tower, if you remember, that is 198 rental townhomes. They expect pre-leasing to begin in December and January, with occupancy to begin early next year in 2024. Iowa Park, another park in the 6th Ward that was recently completed in the spring of this year. There will be a ribbon cutting notice. You're all invited to attend if you like. I just wanted to let you know the reason for the neighborhood park is there was a 4-unit apartment building on there many years ago, and it was demolished and purchased by a combination of 6th Ward funds and City of Aurora funds. It was a crime-infested 4-unit, as I mentioned, but there was 130 police calls for service over a given period of time. And now, of course, there's none. So the residents are quite happy about the outcome of what the city was able to focus on and produce there.
And Alderman Seville, just a little background, can you tell a little bit about that park? It's not the traditional park, it's more like a walking, sitting type park.
It is. Originally, we had proposed to put in a more of an active park, but in talking to the mayor and what the Hills School occurred with the rebuilding and the parks there, the playgrounds, we felt that playground should be better utilized at the Wilder Park, which I think is a better idea. And so now it's like a walking path around this beautiful old 125-year-old tree. People can bring their families there. There's a lot of green space so they can run and play ball and throw a ball and just kind of hang out. And the residents, I was just by there the day before yesterday to see if there's any activity, and there were people in the park. So it was a much-needed investment in the community that's the residents are already benefiting from. And then also, you know from tonight and then last week, the 6th Annual Ukulele Festival is being showcased this Saturday. Those of you that are interested in lessons, you can come beginning at 10:30. You're looking at just free music and hanging out. That starts at 3 o'clock and ends at 9 o'clock in the evening. So we're really happy to offer a chance to showcase the downtown and offer family entertainment. And just briefly, I just want to say the 6th Ward continues to provide support to various organizations, such as the back-to-school events that we have in the city. We don't have one back-to-school event. We've chosen to allocate resources to other organizations and support them, such as Cities and Schools, the Collier Community Center, Echo Development. We just had one over the weekend at May Park Sunday. Quad County Urban League, African Men of Unity, which is this Friday in Green Park. And the 6th Ward has allocated grants to a variety of schools and school districts in our city over the years. Most recently, a grant was allocated to Hope Wall School to help with their inclusive field day. And again, the 6th Ward continues to provide scholarships in support of organizations such as the Illinois Tejano Organization, which we had our get-together at the Batavia Moose over the weekend. And most recently, a grant was allocated to also the Hispanic Pioneer Breakfast that Alderman, the 2nd Ward sponsors every year. And also, the 6th Ward continues to provide support to a variety of not-for-profit organizations that support our youth, veterans, and seniors. And we continue to allocate grants to Kiwanis Goals for Kids, the Sundowners Track Club, again, the Maria Wilkinson Food Pantry, Simply Destiny, At-Risk Mentry, and the West Aurora Cemetery to help with upkeep, landscaping, and maintenance. That's kind of the gist of what's been going on in the 6th Ward. For those of you that are in the audience or watching, if I didn't mention you're not-for-profit, don't be offended. I just can't mention everybody. But I just wanted to highlight some of the things that the 6th Ward has been doing this last year and will continue to do in the weeks and months ahead. So that's the report from the 6th Ward with Mayor.
Thank you, kind sir. Clearly, we have a lot going on in the 6th Ward, and they're relying on their long-time serving alderman to make sure they get the job done, and you're doing just that. So thank you very much, Alderman Seville, for giving us the highlights of what has been happening in the 6th Ward and what we look forward to in the very near future. Let's go on to closed session. We don't have a need for a closed session this evening, so we can adjourn this meeting. There's been a motion to adjourn by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Lash. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries a voice vote. This meeting is hereby adjourned. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Well, next week.